Hello, gem hunter. Have you ever imagined that an ordinary rock, wet in a river, could be worth more than a luxury car? Very few people know how to identify certain rocks hidden in the water, but some of them can represent true fortunes. Today, you'll discover what these rocks are, how to recognize them, and where to look. So, like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of nature's secrets. The river is more than just a stream. It's a silent storyteller. While many see only a reflection of the sun in its waves, there are those who perceive secrets hidden in every stone rolled by the current. It's curious how inattentive eyes only register wet stones, but for those who know how to observe, the discreet shine of a rock can carry the memory of thousands of years, formed in the bowels of the earth and brought to the surface by the patience of the water. Nature, in this sense, is like an infinite library, but books have no cover. They are scattered fragments that demand attention to be read. Thus, the river not only sings in its movement, but whispers clues to riches and stories that few have the courage to decipher. Since ancient times, riverside peoples have understood that the current is wise. They knew that the river does not choose randomly what it deposits on its banks. When the water slows, when the whirlpool rests, there often lies the treasure. Prospectors, indigenous peoples, explorers, all shared this wisdom, passed down from generation to generation. If we observe closely, we realize that nothing is by chance, not the branch that stops rocks in the middle of a rapid, nor the black sand that accumulates at certain bends. These natural signs are like the map that the earth itself draws, a map that reveals itself not to those in a hurry, but to those who learn to listen to what is unsaid. It's no wonder that during the California gold rush, thousands of people changed the course of their lives simply by kneeling by a river and observing. Some found fortune simply by sifting through ordinary stones, overlooked by others. What sets these few apart isn't blind luck, but the willingness to look beyond the surface. Think about it. How often in our daily lives do we miss obvious signs simply because we haven't trained our eyes? Just as rivers hide their richness in their simplicity, life often does the same. And perhaps the next time someone carelessly steps on a smooth stone at the water's edge, they won't imagine that they could actually be stepping on an opportunity that would change their destiny. At first glance, the scene is banal. A river flowing serenely, smooth stones scattered across the bed, and the sun reflecting like a liquid mirror. Most people look and think they're just ordinary fragments of rock, worthless. But to the trained eye, every detail can be a precious clue. The secret is that many of these stones, considered unimportant, are natural markers of valuable minerals, used for centuries by prospectors and cutters. Quartz, for example, emerges as a geological beacon, translucent, shiny, present in rivers across diverse regions, indicating that other rare minerals may be present there. The fascinating thing is realizing that quartz doesn't appear alone. It's often the neighbor of hidden riches, a traveling companion that signals that the soil holds something beyond the obvious. And when someone learns to distinguish its shine from the water's ordinary reflections, they enter a universe where each stone tells a story of value. Before we continue, take the opportunity to like the video and tell me what you think in the comments. Another treasure that often goes unnoticed is the garnet. No, we're not talking about the military explosive, but a stone that was once an amulet in medieval battles and even a symbol of spiritual protection. Garnets come in shades ranging from intense red to brown, often mistaken for simple colored pebbles. However, when holding a garnet in your hands, you feel a distinct weight, a density that contrasts with its simple appearance. In places like rivers in Colorado, in the United States, or in the mountainous regions of Scotland, this rock appears as an indicator of deeper formations and, in some cases, is even associated with diamond deposits in nearby areas. Historically, English travelers carried garnets as a talisman of courage, but their true power lies in signaling that the waters may hide riches far beyond what popular imagination usually believes. Jade, a stone revered in the East as a symbol of purity and power, is another example of how the ordinary can be extraordinary. Many think jade is simply green, but jadeite can present hues ranging from translucent white to lilac, which confuses the less observant. Finding it in rivers is like stumbling upon an ancient cultural heritage, as the Chinese considered it the essence of heaven and earth. Today, rivers in Canada and even parts of New Zealand hold fragments of this stone in its raw state. Curiously, when found, jadeite doesn't immediately impress. Opaque, dull, almost dull. But once cut, it reveals an enchanting luminosity that attracts jewelers from around the world. This contrast between modest appearance and hidden value lies the true lesson for those who learn to identify treasures amid simplicity, a living metaphor that the extraordinary rarely presents itself with clear labels. Corundum is perhaps the most intriguing on this list, as it produces two of humanity's most coveted gemstones, ruby and sapphire. Imagine walking along a riverbank, picking up a bluish or reddish stone without paying much attention, only to discover you're holding a piece of sapphire or ruby in your hands. Corundum's hardness is so great that it's second only to diamond, which is already an indication of its rarity. In regions like Montana in the United States or parts of Australia, entire communities have dedicated themselves to collecting corundum from rivers, and many experienced prospectors recognize it simply by touch. Nature, in this case, provides humanity with a rock that, depending on its color and cut, can reach unimaginable values. It's almost poetic to think that something so resistant lurks silently beneath the running water, waiting only for a watchful eye to reveal itself. And finally, we have the common opal, a stone that enchants precisely because of its unpredictability. Its most striking feature is the play of colors that seem to dance beneath the surface, as if a rainbow had hidden within. Often, when drying, a seemingly dull stone in the river, the observer is surprised to notice green, blue, or reddish reflections that emerge as the light hits it. This phenomenon, known as opalescence, has made opal an object of fascination since ancient Rome, when it was considered the stone of hope. Countries like Australia, one of the world's largest producers, and even regions of the United States, harbor rivers that hide opal fragments. Even the common versions, lacking the exuberant shine of the more noble ones, now serve as geological markers, indicating silica-rich terrain. What seemed like just a smooth, dull rock becomes a window into the beauty hidden in nature. And this is the true plot twist that life delivers to those who know how to look beyond what everyone sees. Now that you know that certain common stones can hide fortunes, the question is, how do you train your eye to differentiate them? The first lesson is to understand that a rock's natural shine is not the same as the reflection of water. While water reflects fleetingly, almost like a liquid mirror that disappears when you change the angle, the shine of a genuine stone remains, even when it dries. Imagine walking along a riverbank in England or the United States and seeing a discrete, luminous point among the stones. The trick is simple. Pick up the rock, dry it on your shirt, and observe. If the shine persists, you may have found a precious sign. This practice requires patience, but gradually the eye becomes accustomed, like someone learning to distinguish stars in the sky even on cloudy nights. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to recognize the true value hidden among the waters. But it's not enough to just look at any point in the river. The best places to find these stones are where the current loses strength. Banks, sandbars, eddies, and bends are veritable natural vaults, where the river deposits what it carries from the mountains. Think of how a sieve works. The current sweeps everything away, but the heaviest weight ends up resting in strategic spots. That's why many prospectors in Colorado rivers, or even explorers in Australia, kneel precisely where the water makes small turns. There, the accumulation is greater, and the chance of finding valuable stones increases exponentially. A good practice is to observe the logs and larger stones stuck in the water. They act as natural traps, holding mineral fragments that the river couldn't carry away. If you spend time observing these spots, you'll realize that the river, in fact, always provides clear clues. Another essential skill is learning to perform basic tests, and this doesn't require expensive equipment. The first is the hardness test. Simply scratch the stone on a glass surface or try to scratch it with a knife. Rocks like quartz or corundum resist, while other common ones break easily. The second is the weight test. Hold 2 stones of similar size. The denser one may indicate valuable minerals like garnet or jadeite. And of course, there's the visual test. Look for veins, lines, or internal colors that don't fade in the light. Many enthusiasts who started out curiously in rivers in Scotland or Canada have discovered that these simple steps are enough to separate common stones from potential treasures. It's almost like a game. The more you practice, the faster you spot the signs. Over time, your intuition develops, and you begin to recognize patterns without even having to think too much. What separates the average person from those who find hidden treasures is the discipline of observation. Most people step on these stones every day without even looking down. Think about how often we walk distractedly, focused solely on the destination, and miss details around us. It's exactly like that with rivers. They're full of signs, but only those who decide to stop, look, and investigate are rewarded. In the United States, there are countless reports of people who, on simple weekend trips, found precious stones without any initial pretensions. This proves that you don't need to be a geology specialist to get started. It's just a matter of attention and curiosity. With each stone collected, you learn not only about minerals, but also about patience, persistence, and even the value of seeing beyond the obvious. The river, after all, rewards attentive eyes. Imagine then combining these elements. Knowing how to differentiate sparkles, looking for strategic points, applying basic tests, and, above all, cultivating the discipline of observation. This combination creates a kind of natural radar that transforms any walk along a riverbank into a real opportunity for discovery. And it's no exaggeration. There are groups of explorers in Australia, Canada, and the United States who find minerals using just these simple practices. The uniqueness lies in the fact that very few people know these secrets, and that's precisely why many walk over valuable stones without realizing it. Now, with this knowledge in hand, you won't make that mistake again. Every river becomes an open-air laboratory, and each stone could be the beginning of a fortune. If this resonates with you, leave a like and comment below. I'm going to observe differently. I want to see who's really training their eye. While we've only discussed discreetly glowing stones, the river holds even more signs for those who know how to pay attention. One of the most powerful is magnetic black sand, which accumulates in small, dark patches on the banks or at the bottom of whirlpools. To the uninitiated, it looks like dirt or mud, but to those who understand, It's like nature's secret code. This sand indicates the presence of heavy minerals, including gold, which often accumulates within it, in places like Alaskan or Canadian rivers. Explorers follow these very clues, knowing that where there's black sand, there's a good chance something more lurks. It's almost as if the river is sending an invisible arrow, pointing to where the riches might be hidden. The trick is that people often step on this material unknowingly, unaware that they're standing on a potential miniature mine. Another clue are rounded stones with quartz veins. Quartz, besides being beautiful in itself, is also a marker of deeper treasures. When they appear among other common rocks, it's a warning that the geology of that region holds valuable secrets. In rivers in Scotland or mountainous regions of the United States, it's not uncommon to find stones that appear ordinary, but bear white lines crisscrossing their surface, almost like scars left by time. These veins are like signatures of the earth itself, testimonies of ancient movements that often created pockets of precious minerals nearby. Imagine observing a simple scratched stone and realizing that it is in fact a natural map indicating that nearby there may be pure quartz, gold, or even hidden gems. Those who learn to read these signs understand that nature leaves nothing to chance. Everything is a clue to patient eyes. And we can't forget the logs stuck in the rapids, which act as veritable natural traps. They hold sediment, small stones, and minerals that the current couldn't carry forward. In many cases, these logs are improvised deposits where precious fragments accumulate, protected from the hurried gaze of those who just rush by. In the rivers of New Zealand or the interior of the United States, there are stories of prospectors who found small gold nuggets or opal fragments in precisely these spots. The river, in this sense, is a patient narrator. Each curve, each whirlpool, each obstacle tells a story of what came from the distant mountains. The fascinating thing is to realize that behind each physical sign, there is also a metaphor. Just as in life, value is often hidden in the corners where no one looks, in the pauses left behind by the rushing current. And, if the signs are so numerous, the inevitable question is, what else is nature still trying to reveal to us? How many times in life have you passed by something seemingly ordinary and not realized that your great opportunity could be hidden there? Just like the river, where smooth, discrete stones can hold priceless riches, everyday life also offers us signs that we often ignore. Think about how many conversations you've let pass without paying attention, how many small ideas you've dismissed because you thought them silly, how many doors you didn't open because they seemed too simple. The truth is, life rarely delivers its treasures wrapped in gold. It prefers to hide them in discreet, almost invisible things. Training your eye to see the value in simplicity is, therefore, a skill that goes far beyond finding precious stones. It's a philosophy of existence. Those who learn to see richness in detail find opportunities where others see only routine. It is at this point that the river ceases to be just nature and becomes a mirror of life, teaching us that every curve, every pause, and every stone can be a reminder that there's always something beyond the surface. It just takes courage and sensitivity to see. If you've made it this far, you've already realized that you're no longer like most people who go through life without seeing the hidden signs around them. Now you know that the river reveals secrets to those with patience and a keen eye, and that these gems can be worth much more than we imagine. But this knowledge only becomes power when it's put into practice and shared. So, I want to challenge you. Comment below, "I see beyond the surface," to show that you're already training your eye and ready to see opportunities that others overlook. And of course, don't forget to like this video because it shows that you value this content and helps bring this knowledge to more people who still wander unaware of what nature reveals. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because here you'll learn not only about precious stones, but also how to decipher life's hidden secrets. After all, wealth is not only in the hands of those who find them, but in the mind of those who learn to seek them. The next time you walk along a riverbank, you'll think twice before kicking a random stone, because now you know that even the simplest detail can hide a silent fortune. The fascinating thing is that the river never holds anything by chance. Every curve, every whirlpool, every whisper of the current is a clue for those who have learned to listen. And if you want to continue training your eye to recognize the secrets that nature hides, don't waste time. The video now appearing on your screen will show you something even more surprising. This simple plant grows only where there are rare diamonds, and almost no one knows about it. Click and discover another secret that can change the way you see the world. See you later, Gem Hunter.